What is going on again, great ones? OTG Darryl and OTG Phil back at it again. And I want to start by saying I'm glad to see that y'all have liked and subscribed and shared our podcast, because
we know you have.
We know you have if you're listening again, right? They didn't respond. It's because they're busy liking and sharing our podcast right now.
Trying to find it.
Well, you know when you're putting in a comment on a 5-star review.
I was just about to say, when you're trying to think of such positive words.
Well,
they're having a hard time. Paying attention and writing at the same time.
Right. Well, they're having a hard time responding to us when they're just laying out this laundry list of great things that they're saying about our podcast.
Yeah.
Man, I think we should make a. I think that we should. I don't want to use the word pivot. We should. Phil, I think we should do a episode today. Try a little short, quicker. I think we've normally been running about 30, 35 minutes. Maybe we can try to sit down and hit some quick episodes, man. And because I think while there are a lot of topics that deserve a lot of attention and are really intricate, there are also topics that are very cut and dry, and that can be, in our opinion, the way that I see it and the way you see it can be covered, very easily.
Well, definitely a lot of times whenever you, overthink something or put too much thought into it, sometimes that's a bad thing.
Right.
Even if it is a difficult thing to comprehend or to take in, sometimes keeping it simple, short and sweet is always the best way to interpret.
Yeah.
Not always, but a lot of times.
I think keeping things simple more often than not. I'll settle on that. More often than not, keeping things simple is is better for me. Simplicity is a much better. Keeping it simple is the much better answer usually.
Yeah.
And you should definitely listen to me because I have headphones, and that makes me.
And I'm talking into a microphone.
Well, that makes me a professional podcaster. So I got some over-the-ear headphones. I got a microphone. I mean, I got a notepad, dude. I'm just kidding.
Real deal, Holyfield.
But anyway, guys. So quick episode today, and I'm not sure really what the title of this one is, but what I wanted to cover the semi-popular saying that nothing works unless you do, and I think that that's always true. So no matter what, basically to break it down, anything that you're trying to accomplish, unless you're trying to accomplish doing nothing, which I guess could be. I tried to accomplish that one time on vacation. I did it for a few hours, and then it wasn't that great.
Yeah, it's tough.
But anything that you want to accomplish, it's never going to work unless you put the work in, right? And I think, people see, I think we covered this on our first show where we said, we want to be more relatable because, the Ed Milet's, the Frasillas, the Grant Cardones, the Jockos of the world that are wildly successful and professional, while they have earned that, people didn't see the come up or the struggle. They just see the end result right now. And they'll say things like, "Oh, must be nice," or yeah, easy to say when you got all that money and time. And
hate that.
And yeah. And these guys have been at it. I mean, these guys are most of these people are older. They've lived longer, right? They've done more things and they've busted their ass to get to where they're at. And I don't think that facts, it's not portrayed as often, and it's not appreciated like it should be. So while these guys are motivational and inspirational, and they are rich and they are successful and they are super, dynamic and they say all the right things, they've been practicing, man. They've been hammering away. Their snowball, ours is a grain of salt right now. And, these guys got beach balls, or these guys got, something that's exponentially larger because of the years of compounding, man. So these guys put the work in. They had a plan, and they worked and they worked and they worked and they worked and they rolled that snowball, man, and they grew it, and they're still growing it. So just know that anything that you set out to do is going to take work. So as long as you keep that in mind, and that's the baseline that you work with, if you combine that with taking ownership, I think that you will achieve. And while
all those guys will tell you that, I mean,
absolutely,
all those guys will definitely tell you that, what you put into something is what you're going to get out of it.
Yep.
So
cut and dry.
It's pretty straightforward.
And so while that's true, let's tie it together with our perspective, who we're still got the grain of sand or the marble or whatever, the smaller version at this point in our lives. I think that hand in hand with that, nothing works unless you do, is taking ownership. And, I think that we live in a time where the finger pointing, the blame game, if something's not going well, it's somebody else's fault. People want to punt the ball all the time, man. And that's bullshit. Look in the mirror. If something's not going right, look in the mirror.
Probably
man.
Your fault.
In one way or another, you may not have been the person that.
I mean, I screw up all the time.
Right.
At least daily.
Well, you may not have been the person that actually did, X thing, but there was probably something along the way. I mean, you and I were just talking off camera about being a business owner. Say if you're a business owner and your employees and your business isn't achieving what it needs to achieve because, little Johnny employee didn't do this thing. Well, that's your fault, dude.
Oh, yeah.
As the business owner. And for one reason or another, one, you didn't lay it out clearly for him, right? You didn't tell him, hey, little Johnny, I need you to do this, this, and this. Two, you've been just letting him get away with it. Maybe you have laid it out.
I've done that.
You've laid it out, and you let him get away with it over and over and over again. And they need to be either, I guess, disciplined or maybe even let go, depending on the situation. That's your fault. That's not anybody else. Not little Johnny's fault. You've been the one who's letting him get away with it. Yeah. And I think that whether you're an employer, you're a business owner, even a parent, your kids aren't doing what you need them to do. I don't even have any kids. I'm just saying that from my perspective, anytime something wasn't going right, it was always tied back to me.
Yes.
Always.
There's always a way that you could think, how could I have prevented that from happening?
Exactly.
What could I have done different to, not allow that? I could have confronted it earlier. And this happens to me at minimum a couple times a day.
Yeah.
A couple times at least. Because, anytime there's a lot of decisions to be made, not all of them are going to get made correctly. You're always going to be able to look back and say, could have done this thing different. I do it in my relationship all the time. Could have confronted this thing earlier. You let it build up inside, and it makes the whole situation worse. You do it at work when you're talking to someone. You have a conflict with a coworker, or with your boss or an employee. And I'm really good at avoiding confrontation.
Yeah,
I'm an expert. So, when you're an expert at that, it makes you really bad at dealing with it when it has to be dealt with, and that's me.
Right. So repetition, right? Practice.
Yep.
The good thing is that you have taken ownership of that, and you know that you have this issue, so that you know that you can attack it, and maybe it'll take you months and years.
It's definitely, for me, this one's a never-ending thing. This is...
it's not never-ending. I think that it hasn't ended yet.
The battle is ongoing.
You've confronted it.
Yeah, the battle is ongoing.
Hey, dude, and you're fighting it. You've taken ownership. You haven't been like, oh, well, this didn't go well because so-and-so didn't do this and that. You're like, yeah, hey, look, I know that this thing didn't go well because of me, and I could have done this and that. And next time, you're going to put that tool in your tool bag rather than thinking about the past and dwelling on it. And you're going to use that tool.
Yep.
And this applies, y'all, to relationships, to jobs, to interacting on pretty much any level, man. I remember that there was a point in my life, and I still struggle with a lot of things, but I take a good, long, hard look in the mirror, and I did point the finger that day. It's your fault, man. It's all your fault, and don't put that on yourself. Like, don't wear it like it's a heavy burden, and let it drag you down. Confront it. Hey, this is your fault. This didn't go well because you did these things. Now I know I'm not going to do these things, and I'm going to move away from that. And so you got your plan. You want it to work. You got to take ownership of the plan, take ownership of your actions, and to get those two things meshed together, work and owning the issues or the downfalls or even the good things that come out of it. You got to own those too. Don't look, playing the blame game is
that's one thing you can't do, because as soon as you blame somebody else,
never productive.
Yeah, not only are you lying to yourself, but also you're setting yourself up for failure next time.
It's never productive. Huge. So what if it is somebody? Oh, hey, this is your fault. All right. What if it is?
How
we're gonna fix it?
How are you gonna? Yeah, and if you blame, how are you gonna benefit?
You're not.
But if you think about, don't beat yourself up, but just ask yourself, what could I have done to make it better? And it's really simple, like you were mentioning earlier, simplicity is the way to go. This is definitely one of those things.
Yeah.
Where don't keep overthinking it.
We'll keep revisiting.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
Just say, hey, I know I could have done better. This is what I'm going to do next time.
So guys,
that's it.
No plan that you make is going to work. No goal that you have is going to be achieved unless you put the work in to get it done and you take ownership of the good and the bad. Period. And that's really all there is to this discussion. I've learned that firsthand, still learning it. No plan I ever had, no goal I ever wanted to achieve came to me until I started working towards that, putting in the work. Additionally, when things didn't go right, I started pointing the finger at myself in the mirror rather than pointing at somebody else. Oh, well, this. Oh, well, I didn't get a fair shake because of that, or this person did this, or this situation wasn't, good because of blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter, man.
Nah,
doesn't matter. And, a lot of time you'll find that nobody really cares. And that's hard on a lot of people. That was hard on me. That's hard on a lot of people. Nobody really cares.
No.
So you're going to have to accept that too. So take ownership, accept the responsibility, and put the work in, and you will gain that momentum. You will avoid that cycle of mediocrity in your life, and you will achieve greatness.